Hey everyone, I am Kevin Ioli. Welcome to Yahoo Sports, and it is that time again. UFC 264 on Saturday at a sold-out T-Mobile Arena. Let's get that in part. And my guest now is UFC President Dana White. Dana, your hometown of Las Vegas, 20,000 people roughly in there. I guess you couldn't be happier. Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier in the main event. Pretty good times for you.
Yeah, no, it's been a good run. Ever since Jacksonville. So. We finally made our way back to Vegas, and this weekend's going to be crazy. You got us sold out at T-Mobile. You got Garth Brooks sold out at Raider Stadium. Rogan and Chappelle Thursday and Friday night sold out the MGM Grand Garden. Bieber's playing at the Wynn or somewhere like that. Drake. I could go on for an hour talking about all the events that are happening this weekend. It's going to be a crazy weekend in Vegas.
Well, I'm glad to see you here healthy in one piece because I know you were on vacation last week in Maine. And when you go to Maine, you got to do some nutty stuff. And anything crazy when you were in Maine last week?
You know what, man? The weather sucked, and it was rainy and cold most of the time. So, I got a couple fun things in, and that was it. I didn't really get to do much.
Okay. Well, we're going to have a lot to do on Saturday because a really good deep card, a lot of fun fights on that one. But we got to start with the main event, Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier. I want to ask you, I guess, about Conor to start off with. He's 1-2 in his last 3 MMA fights, 1-3 in his last 4 fights overall. He's been finished in 3 of them. Is there a difference in this guy from the Conor McGregor we saw from 2014 through 2016? Or is this just the natural course of MMA and the evolution of the sport we're seeing?
Yeah, listen, you know as well as anybody knows when you start to make that kind of money that he makes, and this kid's got next level money. This guy's doing yachts, and he's doing things that 1% of the world can do. It definitely changes you. You're not as hungry as you were, and I think that's almost the theme of this weekend. Seeing a lot of different things from Conor. His family isn't here. They're not coming to the fight. He is he's been resistant to do any media. He's been locked up in training, hasn't talked to anybody, hasn't so hopefully what you're seeing here is a focused, different McGregor, and that's what we're going to find out on Saturday.
It seems to me that he has developed into this guy that the winning or losing doesn't matter as long as he puts on good shows, right? He got over 1 million pay-per-view buys the last time out, even though he came in, off a loss, on a losing streak at that point. So do you feel like, you just need him as a promotional company, you just need him to give you good fights and it doesn't matter the result, or does the result matter at this stage of his career?
No, winning definitely matters. Listen, Conor McGregor is a competitor. This guy loves to compete. That's why he's still here. He doesn't need the money.
Right.
But he also loves money too. Those are the 2 things he likes: to compete and he likes money. And the more you win, the more fun it is, and the more of both you get.
Since he hasn't been talking, we don't know, he sold the whiskey company that put him up, got him over $100 million in profit, I guess. And Forbes had him listed as the #1 highest paid athlete. I think he fought 1 time and he was the highest paid athlete. Do you think that having that business out of the way made any changes and allowed him to focus on the fight that maybe he hadn't been doing before when he had business issues to deal with?
That's a good question, but I think that as you head into a fight, even if you're a business partner of Conor's, you want him to be as focused as you possibly can and focus on the fight. But I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question.
I want to ask you about Dustin because, I didn't think about this until the other day, but I wrote this on my betting column and I also put it in my column I'm doing on him. I think if you eliminate Khabib and let's just say active fighters over the last 4+ years, there's nobody that's had a better run than Dustin Poirier. He's 7-1 with a no contest in that period of time. The loss, of course, to Khabib. But of the 7 people that he beat, 5 were either active or former UFC champions. One was Jim Miller, who's number 2 or 3 on your all-time win list. And the other one was Dan Hooker, who was rated in the top 5. So nobody in the last couple of years, other than Habib, has been doing what this guy has been doing, beating elite people time after time after time.
Yeah, I agree. Listen, Dustin Poirier is a much improved fighter from the first time that they fought. And leading into this fight, you know that he's down in Florida training with straight killers. It was a very important fight in his career. I know he took a lot of criticism for taking this fight instead of the title fight. This is absolutely the fight you take. He's the #1 ranked guy in the world.
Right.
You take the money fight. You take the Conor McGregor fight. You know, and if he wins again, he's still the #1 contender in the world. And how far does he drop if he loses? Not much. So it was the right fight to take. And the answer is yes. I mean, the kid is one of the best in the world.
Do you see it, you know, is there a difference in him, or is it just kind of like the poise and wisdom you get from, you know, from experience? Because, you know, tactically, like if you look at his fights, 2013, 2014, it doesn't look like he's really doing anything any differently, but the results are different. You know, he was, you know, he'd win 2, lose 1 before. Now he's just cranking off win over win against the best opposition he's faced. Do you see anything different in him that maybe I'm missing?
Well, I mean, he's obviously gotten better. He's obviously gotten stronger, more confident. You know, I don't know if you and I can see the differences in him, but obviously he's ripping through all the best guys in the world. He's doing something right.
I talked to him about this yesterday, and I want to get your take on it, because to me, this is really what's amazing about him. You know, he said after he beat Conor the last time that Conor buzzed him in the first round and hit him with a 2-punch combination, hurt him. He said, but he kept his poise and he didn't show that he was hurt. And Conor, who's maybe the best finisher in the sport, didn't jump on him in that opportunity went by, and Dustin survived and came back to knock him out. Does that impress you when you hear that kind of thing, that, you know, here's a guy that, you know, in the past, you know, when he got hurt, you know, guys knew it and they finished him. And this time he was able to, against a really hard puncher and one of the best finishers in the sport, you know, kind of keep his cool and play possum enough that Conor didn't realize it.
Yeah, well, in my opinion, I saw a lot of confidence issues with Poirier in that second fight too. Going into that second fight, he did not seem very confident, even in that first round in the beginning. And then as he started to land on Conor, you saw him start to build confidence. So I would have to imagine he's extremely confident going into this third fight, which makes it even more interesting.
You think of how history would have changed, though, if he did not survive that assault from Conor, you know, and had showed that he was hurt and let Conor finish him. You know, you might have not had Chandler Oliveira, which turned out to be one of the great fights. You might not, you know, you might have had Conor McGregor fighting Oliveira for the title, right? So who knows how the history would have changed? So those little things mean so much.
So true. So true.
I want to, you know, I want to get to the co-main event, but first, you know, I want to talk to you about Greg Hardy. He's fighting Tai Tuivasa, which I think is a really tough fight for Greg Hardy. Do you feel great, you know, forgetting all the controversies around him, that's in the past, right? You know, let's just talk about him as a fighter. Has he made the kind of progress as a fighter that you expected when you signed him?
Listen, when you got a guy that came in at his age, you know, had played, you know, football his whole life, played at a pro level, then they come over here and he's actually still in the UFC. I mean, yeah, I'm impressed with what he's done. And I agree with you. Saturday night is a very tough fight for him. I mean, if he wins Saturday night, he deserves some serious props.
If I'm not mistaken, I don't think anybody that Greg has beaten, and correct me if I'm wrong, is still in the UFC, right? I think that's correct. Maurice Green is out. I think you cut to Castro, if I'm not mistaken, right? So I don't think he has beaten anybody that's still in the UFC. So it's at what point does it come in his development where you say, okay, this is a must win? You know, like I know you've been letting him develop and grow. At what point does he finally get to the point where he's treated like the other guys and say, okay, now you're a veteran, you need to win these fights or you're going to be moving on?
Now, I mean, he's going in against Tai Tuivasa. I mean, he's fought tough guys. It's not like he's been in some fucking Joe Schmo show and fighting bums. He's been fighting real guys since he's been here. And he's fighting a real guy on Saturday night.
Do you think this turns out to be a big slugfest? I mean, you know, that's the hope. You know, anytime you're in a Tuivasa fight, what is that? But is that what you know, is that what you see coming up? You know, do you see that?
100%. Yeah. I mean, Tai Tuivasa is going to go right after him, and Greg Hardy's going to have to fight his ass off to stay in there.
Okay. A couple more things. I know we're kind of running up against time, so I'll keep you very shortly. Ask you about Wonder Boy Stephen Thompson versus Gilbert Burns. I think a fascinating style matchup, and the bookmakers have Wonder Boy is a fairly solid favorite. $1.65 favorite here. Do you guess that's because of the style? Like, you don't see many people with the footwork or the karate style that Wonder Boy has.
Yeah, and he's got good takedown defense too. So the question is going to be, will Stephen Thompson stay on the outside and pick him apart? Or can Gilbert Burns get inside, mix it up with him? Can you put your hands on him? And if you can't, can you take him down?
Gilbert said yesterday, he said, I want to be careful how I say this because I don't want to sound like I'm criticizing Dana. But he said, Dana will sometimes say things and then a performance in the fight that weekend changes his mind. And his goal was out there to beat Stephen Thompson in a way that changes your mind and takes Colby Covington out of the running for the rematch with Usman and puts him back in the running. Is there anything in your mind that Gilbert could do in this?
I didn't know what you were saying at first. I see what he's saying now. What he's saying is, going into to Saturday night, I'm Colby Covington. But if he looks amazing on Saturday night, I might change my mind to Gilbert Burns.
Correct. That's what he's saying. Is there anything he could do that you could change it? He could change your mind.
Probably not. I always expect him to look good. He's an incredible fighter, but Colby Covington's the #1 guy in the world, And we, first of all, the Colby Covington Usman fight is one of the greatest fights I've ever seen. It's an incredible fight. No matter what your opinion is, you don't like Colby Covington, whatever you think of Usman, there's all kinds of weird shit out there, but people feel about those two guys. You cannot, if you try to say Colby Covington versus Usman isn't one of the best fights you've ever seen, you're just a hater. That's it. You're a hater. And we just saw Gilbert versus Usman.
Yeah. No,
he'll get back there. He's got to win Saturday night. He'll work his way back to a title shot, but there's no way there's nothing he's going to do on Saturday that's going to make me think he should jump over Colby.
Sorry, Gilbert. I tried. Anyways, let's wrap it up at this. Justin Gaethje's kind of the odd man out here at lightweight, and I'm just kind of curious where what his situation is and when we will see him back.
He's really not. He's really not the odd man out. I mean, you got Oliveira, who just fought for the title. Poirier's ranked #1. He's fighting Conor #5 this weekend. And you got Dariush at 3, who said he doesn't want to fight till next year. And then you got who's left? Gaethje versus Chandler.
And what have you put that on a show? Have you put that on a show?
I love it.
I mean, is it booked yet?
That's no, but I think that's the fight. He's not the odd man out.
No. Well, very good. I meant the odd man out because we're looking at a title fight, right? And so, he probably is not going to get the next shot. Like Conor wins, Conor gets the title fight. Dustin wins, Dustin gets the title fight.
Yeah. Well, Justin just fought for the title.
So, anyways, Dana, we appreciate you as always. Good stuff, my friend. UFC 264 sales going good. Is it looking like we're going to get a big number?
Yeah, it's the biggest pre-buys ever for any fight we've ever done. Sold out. I mean, it's just yes. Everything points to success. I'll have a better grasp of the numbers tomorrow or Friday.
Good luck, Dana. We appreciate you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.